Hi BookTube, here's my review for Defiance by CJ Redwine.
I sure would like some sweet company, and I'm leaving tomorrow, what do you say?
I really enjoyed this book, but I think it had some problems. And so on Goodreads, I only gave it 3 stars. But I really did enjoy the story. And so let me tell you a little bit about it. This is the story of Rachel Adams and Logan McIntyre and an adventure that they go on. They live in kind of a post-apocalyptic slash fantasy town, and the basic plot is, it's a good plot. Her dad, at the very beginning of the book, in the very first few pages, is declared dead because he's been on a mission and he hasn't come back for a certain amount of time. And in their culture, if you don't come back after a certain amount of time, then they declare you dead, basically. It's like MIA, missing in action. Well, she and Logan don't believe that this guy's dead. It's her father, and Logan has been apprenticed to him. And so some things happen after that, and I won't spoil any of the book for you, but except to say those are the 2 main characters, and the plot follows an adventure to find him. This book had all of the right elements. It had a great plot, it had good characters, it had an interesting setting, it had good storytelling, but for some reason it just fell flat. And I'm not sure how that can happen in a book that has all those great things going for it. So like I said, it was a good story and it was told relatively well, but here are some of the things that I had that were problems with it. So problem 1 was that the world wasn't very well developed. They talk about the town where Rachel and Logan live, and they describe it's got like a concrete and steel wall around it because there is a terrible monster outside and they've got to protect the town from that. This monster is kind of a cross between a dragon and like those worms from Tremors. It like comes up out of the ground and stuff, but it will kill you. And so the town has this wall around it. Well, the wall is concrete and steel, and yet there are, not paved roads. People use horses and wagons, and they have shops that are tents. And so that's kind of very rustic and even almost Lawrence of Arabia. It's kind of like, like that. And then Logan is kind of a geek whiz, MacGyver kind of guy, and he develops tech that's it's a wrist thing that they all have to wear so that guards know where they are at any time, and there's a signal that's sent out. And so Logan develops little gadgets that fool them, like magnetic gadgets, and he develops magnetic things that enable them to climb up the wall on the steel parts. So is it fantasy with the whole setting inside the town, or is it dystopia where it's that setting inside the town plus the whole? I never did get that straight. There's a wasteland which apparently is just where this creature lives, but there are forests. So are they in the wasteland, or are they between the wasteland and another town, or exactly? That's never explained. The trees are big enough that they can hop from tree to tree to tree, and apparently there are even tree people that live in villages in the trees. Okay, but that's kind of odd. And then there are other towns, and I couldn't write, okay, why are the towns all separated, and what happened to separate? What created the wasteland? Why are there forests amid a wasteland? And what happened? What happened with this world? There was really no good world building going on. There were some stabs at it, but that was about it. The women wear the traditional kind of Renaissance kind of clothing, honestly. And the gender roles are very, very well defined in that it's very male-dominated culture, and women are under they have protectors. and they are under the guardianship of protectors until they are of an age when they can be claimed, which means they can be married. And they're kind of almost auctioned off. I mean, they're stood up on a stage, and guys say, well, I'll take her, and fortunately she gets to decide, unless she's under a protector who says, yeah, you're getting that guy. So it's I don't know about that. Interesting concept though, because obviously our heroine is probably going to have to overcome that. She is not a girly girl. Her dad never never subscribed to that kind of thinking, and so he taught her to fight. She knows how to defend herself. She knows how to use a knife and other various things. So, yeah, she's not your typical heroine. So that was my first problem, was that the world building just didn't really happen. I mean, there were just these elements, but no way to connect them all or to explain them. Problem 2 was that things happened too fast. And this had all the makings of a great saga, but it was like stuff happened and it didn't connect with the last thing that happened. And probably because there was no context in which to put it, because there was no world building. So, yeah, that's kind of, sometimes when some of the characters, when they'd be introduced, you'd get just this taste of who they were, and you'd think, oh, I really like this character. I can't wait to hear more about him. And then they die. It was like, bam, they're gone. I didn't like that. I thought that didn't serve the story very well. The characters that you did get to know were very likable. Rachel is a great heroine, and Logan is wonderful. He's totally a MacGyver kind of, I'll figure it out. He's very logical. He'll think through a situation, where she just is impulsive and let's go get the bad guys and let's go, find my dad, and, who cares if we have a plan? And so while he holds her back, she comes to appreciate that. And there is a little bit of a romance there, but he broke her heart when she was 15, and now she's about 18. Well, she's about to turn 18. And so, yeah, she's ticked off at him still for breaking her heart. So there is that obstacle to overcome, which is very sweet. And I wouldn't call it insta-love, but it happens kind of, you know what's going to happen. It's kind of predictable. There is a commander in their town who is the villain. He's a bad guy, but he's not as bad. I mean, he's portrayed to be a really bad guy, but then he's kind of clueless. Like, he does some stupid things, and you kind of think, okay, wait a minute. No. There were a couple of side characters that I really wish that I had known more about. They are Quinn and Willow, who were tree people that Logan and Rachel met when they were on their adventure. And they're just kind of, they appear and then they disappear. And it's, I think they will come out more in the second book in the series, but they kind of make me sad that I didn't get any more of them. And if I were a person that were breezing through this book without caring, I would be a little sad that I didn't really get enough to be interested in them. So this book is 403 pages long, so it is not your standard 300-page book. And for a book that long that had that little depth, I just thought was just a shame. It was just a shame. I mean, I kept thinking, what happened? What happened? All of these great possibilities were there, but it was almost like you were looking at it through a window. You're watching all this action happen, but there's no backdrop. So that made me sad. But that said, I will definitely be picking up the next book, which I forget what it's called. It starts with a D. I think it's called Deception. And I think that there's the possibility that the story could get a lot more deep, and that it could get a lot, it could get some oomph to it, some grab. There could be much more backdrop going on. So it's a good read. I would recommend this book, even with my criticisms of it. I really liked it. I just thought it did have its problems, but I think it's worth picking up. And I think that the next book in the series is definitely going to be worth reading. So that's my review of Defiance by C.J. Redwine. I hope that you will pick up this book and enjoy it. I would love to know, if you've already read it, what you thought of it. And if you pick it up and read it, come back and let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
When I'm gone, when I'm gone, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my walk. You're gonna miss me by my talk. Oh, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone.